Alright y'all, if you're like me and you have a lot of herbs just growing wild and you want to go ahead and harvest them, I have the perfect thing to dry out your herbs without them losing their flavor. And you don't need an oven, you don't need an air fryer. All you need is some string, some scissors to cut your herbs, and a nice cool dark place so they can dehydrate. Hi y'all, welcome to the Goodness Well, where we bring you non-toxic and natural living tips and recipes. I'm Brooke, and today I'm going to show you how to dry your herbs, hanging them the old-fashioned way. So the reason why we're actually going to air dry the old-fashioned way instead of using the oven or the air fryer to dehydrate them is because the final result ends up tasting so much better. When you dehydrate your herbs, you end up losing a lot of the natural flavor and taste. So instead of throwing them in the air fryer or the oven, we're actually just going to hang them up and let them dry for about 2 weeks. Now let's get started. Y'all, I promise you, there is nothing that smells better than fresh cut herbs. Selected all our herbs. We have our oregano, we have our thyme, rosemary, and so much more. Now that we have our herbs collected, we can go ahead and head inside and get ready to dry them out. So when I'm getting ready to wash my herbs, what I like to use is baking soda and water. It's natural, but it's really effective at getting any dirt or bugs that may be lingering on the herbs. And I'll just let it sit and soak for a few minutes. I don't really use a precise amount of baking soda. I kind of just sprinkle it on and use what I think is best for that amount of herbs that I'm using. And once I feel like it's been soaking enough, no longer than just a few minutes, then I'll just rinse off all the baking soda and set it aside. So now what I'll do for this part when I'm actually wrapping the string around the herbs is I'll just collect all the herbs in my hand and I will wrap the yarn or string or thread around and hang them up, tie a good knot. You want to tie your herbs really tight, but you don't want to tie it so tight that it's breaking the stem. Just really secure that when you hang them, they won't fall or slip out of the loop. So when hanging my herbs up, just make sure you have somewhere to hang them from that's nice and dark and cool. I use the laundry room because I feel like it's a small space that has a hanging bar that right now I have the lights on, but when I turn the lights off and close the blinds, it is pretty dark in there. As well as cool, so I feel like this is a really great spot for at least me to hang them up. If you have a basement, I live in Texas, so we don't have basements really, so this was our best bet. The garage is definitely way too hot, but if you have a basement or somewhere like that, that's even better. Alright, so our herbs are hung up and they're going to stay like this for about 2 weeks, but you want to continue to check on them and just make sure they're drying out, they're not flaking all over the place, especially with our coriander seeds that are going to dry out a lot faster than 2 weeks. Some of the seeds are already drying out now, and then when they're ready, we're going to place them into our jar and they're good to go. And the same with the rest of our herbs. You just want to make sure you keep an eye on them and let them get nice and dried out before you use them in your dishes.
1 week later.
Alright, so our herbs are nice and crunchy, and they've been hanging up for about 6 days, 7 days if you count the day that we hung them. You can go up to 10 days, 2 weeks if you would like to, but I would not go any more than 2 weeks when hang drying your herbs. So now these herbs are ready to be stored in a dark, cool place. And let me show you how to do that. All right, so we have our herbs, they're dried out, and we got some mason jars or any type of jars that you want to use to store your food. Of course, you can use plastic baggies and Ziploc bags, but we do recommend using glass jars or anything that can seal your herbs, because we don't want any plastics in our herbs and definitely not in our food and in our body. So I like to use just some jars that I've recycled. So with your herbs, before you put them in the jars, you do not want to crush them up. You'll crush them up or just take them apart more when you're ready to actually use them. But for storing purposes, you're just gonna trim them at the most and put them into a jar and store them in a dark, cool place, just like we did when we hung dry them. Okay, so we are done. We have stored our herbs. They are in airtight containers. They're all good to go. And now you know how to hang dry and store your herbs. If you used any other herbs that we didn't, or if you have any suggestions or ways that you'd like to use your herbs, whether it be food recipes, remedies, or even skincare and other types of things like that, we love to learn how you like to use your herbs. Just comment below, like, and of course share this video to help others, and subscribe so that we can just continue the work that we do. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.